Cliff Richard, born Harry Roger Webb on October 14, 1940, in Lucknow, British India, grew up during a time of great change. His family returned to England in 1948, shortly after India gained independence, and settled in Cheshunt, Hertfordshire. Growing up in modest circumstances, Cliff's early years were marked by financial struggles. Despite this, he developed a deep love for music and performance, particularly influenced by American rock and roll stars like Elvis Presley, Little Richard, and Buddy Holly. These icons ignited a passion within him that would shape his future. In 1958, Cliff Richard adopted his stage name and, along with his band The Drifters, later renamed The Shadows, he burst onto the British music scene. His debut single, Move. It is often credited as the first true British rock and roll record, marking the beginning of his illustrious career. The birth of a star. Cliff Richard and The Shadows. Cliff Richard's rise to fame in the late 1950s marked the birth of a new era in British music. The song Move It set the stage for his place in history, introducing a fresh guitar-driven sound that was new to the UK. With his good looks, energy, and youthful rebellion, Cliff quickly became the poster child for teenage music in post-war Britain. His transition from a fledgling artist to the UK's first rock star was cemented by a string of successful hits in the 1960s, including Living Doll, The Young Ones, and Bachelor Boy. In addition to his music career, Cliff ventured into films, starring in musical comedies that became fan favorites. Despite the rise of the Beatles and the British invasion, Cliff maintained his relevance, adapting his sound while staying true to his unique style. Reinvention. Cliff Richard's 1970s. Transition. The 1970s marked a turning point for Cliff Richard, as he transitioned from a teen idol to a mature, introspective artist. Rather than being left behind by the changing musical landscape, he adapted his sound and style, exploring new genres like disco and synth-pop. His hits like Devil Woman and We Don't Talk Anymore reflected his willingness to evolve and experiment. Cliff's voice, always recognizable and distinctive, was the cornerstone of his music, but he also found a deeper connection to his audience as he matured. His spiritual awakening in the mid-1960s influenced both his personal life and his creative output. His faith became central to his identity, guiding his choices and inspiring religious music like Mary's Boy Child, Oh My Lord, in 1979. Despite pressures in the entertainment industry, Cliff maintained his Christian values and clean image, earning respect in both the music world and beyond. Cliff Richard's global influence and impressive legacy. Cliff Richard's music transcended borders, gaining international acclaim in places like Australia, South Africa, and across Europe. With over 250 million records sold worldwide, he became one of the best-selling artists of all time. His impressive discography includes numerous hits that have stood the test of time, with a remarkable achievement of having #1 singles in 5 consecutive decades, from the 1950s through the 1990s. His contribution to British culture was recognized with numerous accolades, including being knighted in 1995, making him the first rock star to receive such an honor. His commitment to charity work, including support for HIV/AIDS awareness and children's welfare, further solidified his legacy as an influential figure, not only in music, but in society. A family caregiver. Cliff Richard and his mother. Cliff Richard's devotion to his family continued throughout his life, especially as he became the primary caregiver for his mother, Dorothy Webb. Dorothy was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, and Cliff spent the next decade caring for her as her condition slowly worsened. This period of emotional strain weighed heavily on Cliff, who openly discussed the heartache of watching his mother lose her memory and identity. In a 2006 interview, he admitted how emotionally draining it had been to care for his mother while also managing the pressures of his career. Watching her decline was a painful reminder of the fragility of life, and it deepened Cliff's commitment to his family. Dorothy passed away in 2007 at the age of 87, but her memory remained a source of both sorrow and inspiration for Cliff. Cliff Richard's lifelong commitment to bachelorhood. Cliff Richard has remained a lifelong bachelor, a personal choice shaped by his deep commitment to both his career and his family. His decision to remain unmarried was influenced by a letter he wrote in 1961 to his first serious girlfriend, Australian-born dancer Delia Wixes. The relationship had lasted 18 months, and Delia had hoped for marriage. In his heartbreaking letter, Cliff explained that he could not pursue a lasting relationship, as his career and responsibilities to his family took precedence. He acknowledged the emotional toll this decision had on Delia, but also emphasized that show business was now his life. The letter revealed the internal conflict Cliff faced between love and his career, a struggle that would define much of his personal life. Romantic relationships, love lost and love found. Despite his commitment to bachelorhood, Cliff Richard had several significant romantic relationships, many of which captured the public's attention. In the late 1960s, he was linked to dancer Jackie Irving, and later, in the 1980s, to tennis star Sue Barker. The latter relationship, which garnered significant media coverage, hinted at the possibility of marriage. But ultimately, it did not last. In interviews from the time, Cliff had spoken openly about his affection for Sue, but he also admitted that he did not feel a strong enough bond to commit to a lifelong relationship. Reflecting on his romantic history, Cliff confessed that marriage was never a priority, despite his love for a few women. For him, the demands of fame, coupled with his emotional commitments to family and career, left little room for lasting romantic relationships. Cliff Richard's unspoken love for Olivia Newton-John. In the 1970s, Cliff Richard's heart was touched by another woman, Olivia Newton-John. He admitted in later interviews that he had fallen in love with her during their time together, but his feelings were unrequited, as Olivia was already engaged. This deep, unspoken love was one of the few regrets Cliff has publicly shared. He acknowledged that at the time, Olivia was a popular and beautiful figure, and like many men, he was enchanted by her. However, as he reflected, the relationship never developed into anything serious due to the timing and circumstances. Olivia herself has remained gracious about their connection, and the two remained friends even after their brief interactions faded. Despite the missed opportunity for romance, Cliff holds a deep respect for Olivia. Cliff Richard's admiration for Elvis Presley. Cliff Richard's admiration for Elvis Presley is well known, but for years he remained quiet about the depth of that admiration. Finally, in a rare interview, Cliff opened up about the profound influence Elvis had on his music and career. As a teenager in post-war England, Cliff was captivated by Elvis's unique voice and style. "It was like the world stopped," he said, reflecting on hearing Elvis for the first time. Cliff saw in Elvis not only a musical icon, but also a role model. However, the pressure of being compared to such a legendary figure was a heavy burden. Cliff confessed that while he was honored to be associated with Elvis, it was also challenging to live up to those expectations. The regret of never meeting Elvis Presley. One of the most emotional aspects of Cliff Richard's reflection on Elvis Presley is his regret of never meeting the king of rock and roll. Cliff revealed that at one point there were plans for their paths to cross, but it never came to fruition before Elvis's untimely death in 1977. For Cliff, the loss of Elvis felt like losing a spiritual and artistic brother. He admitted that Elvis's death affected him deeply, as he had always seen Elvis as a guide, even though they never met. Cliff spoke with admiration for the man behind the legend, acknowledging Elvis's kindness and spirituality, which resonated with him deeply. Cliff's words were a tribute to the enduring legacy of Elvis Presley and the impact he had on the music world. Cliff Richard's final tribute to Elvis Presley. In reflecting on Elvis Presley's life and legacy, Cliff Richard has finally offered a heartfelt tribute to the man who inspired him to pursue his own musical dreams. Cliff's acknowledgement of the deep spiritual connection they shared reveals a side of Elvis that many fans never saw. For Cliff, Elvis was more than a musical idol. He was a kindred spirit, someone who unknowingly shaped his artistic journey. Cliff's emotional tribute to Elvis serves not only as a way to honor the king of rock and roll, but also as a reminder of how music transcends generations. Through his reflection, Cliff has shown that even legends have heroes, and sometimes those heroes never meet.